سيدة أسترالية مسلمة تتحدث عن الفطرة السليمة وكيف كانت سببا في اعتناقها الإسلام.
into a mosque for the very first time. And I remember as I was walking in thinking to myself, gosh, imagine if there was something in this religion that actually really appealed quite deeply to me and I converted. And it was such a stupid thought. What a crazy bonkers thought. And I just dismissed it out of my brain. 1974, that's the year I was born, in an outer eastern suburb of Melbourne. And I had a very normal childhood. You know, I had three older brothers. You know, I had ballet lessons, you know, when I was a little girl, snail races, building forts in the backyard with my brothers, you know, climbing trees. There were Easter egg hunts, Christmas trees, all that kind of stuff. Very normal, right? But I think there's one prevailing thing, and I can't tell you why I am this way. I've always had big questions, always. Even during my partying years and all this kind of stuff, there was still niggling questions in the back of my mind as to God. You know, if God is in all things, then how is God in you? How is God in me? How is God in the water? How is God in the cosmos? So, you know, big questions. Don't ask me why. It's just the way I am. She said to me something that was mind-blowing. She put her finger up and she said, God is the great mathematician, Jessica. Talk about mind blow. What does that even mean? And I looked around the mosque and all I could see was sacred geometry. Because inside mosques you see a lot of geometric patterns. And like geometric patterns, almost like Escher. You know the painter, Escher, the artist? How you look at his paintings and these stairs seem to just go forever. Patterns that go forever. Well, these are fractals. And there's a lot of that in nature. So if you look at the pattern of the fern, or if you look at the cosmos, or, you know, nature itself and angles and geometry, and there's just so much magnificence in nature itself. And I sat there waiting for the Friday prayer and I looked to my right and there was a girl, I mean, you can't tell. I mean, you know, your hair's covered. You cover your hair when you go into a mosque. So I look at this girl next to me and she looked Anglo just like me. And I looked at her and I said, Salam alaikum. And she said, Walaikum salam. She sounded distinctly Aussie, in a distinctly Aussie accent. Walaikum salam. And she looked at me and she said, are you Muslim? And I said, no, but I'm going to make my shahada today. And then, of course, by that stage, we could hear our accents. She's like, oh, are you from Australia? And I'm like, yeah, I am. So am I, she says. She says, hi, my name's Vic. My name's Victoria. And I remember she whacked me on the knee twice, like typical Australian. Good for you. I did it 2 weeks ago. Islamically, subhanallah.
When I went to Egypt,
فتاة كندية غير مسلمة زارت مصر وتفاجأت بمستوى الإسلام والمسلمين في مصر.
When I went to Egypt, I went to a couple mosques. I started learning a little bit about Islam, the Muslim faith. And when I got home, when I got back from Egypt, I was telling people, you know, I have started learning about Islam and it is a beautiful religion. For a little context, I have learned about a little bit about like Hinduism, Sikhism, Christianity. Grew up in a Christian household. And now I'm from Canada. And when I tell people, I get the kind of same reaction, like, oh. And you can tell that there's judgment by their demeanor, by their facial expressions, by their body language. And I reflect on those interactions and I think to myself, and this is a question for you as well, if you're watching and you're from the western part of the world, or you don't know much about Islam or Muslim faith, how is it that you can hold judgment? What is your understanding, first of all? What do you know? And then I want you to reflect on yourself and say, how is it that I can be so judgmental of something that I have no understanding of, that I don't really know anything about? And it's crazy to think that I wouldn't even know anything about it if it wasn't for Gaza. And I think about the Palestinians and these people that are so deep in their faith. Because I guess at the end of the day, it's between you and God. You and the one who created you. When your family has been killed, when you have no food to fill your belly, nothing. no home, no bed. It is literally just you and God. So I want you to think of the Palestinians. I want you to think of all the people that are out in this world right now that don't have anything. That don't have anything and are quickly losing everyone. What do you do? Who do you turn to? So, inshallah, which means God willing, for those that don't know, I will continue learning about this religion that I would have never even known about if it weren't for the horrible things that are happening in this world.
طبيب ألماني يطرد عنصرين أهانوا سيدة مسلمة تعمل في المستشفى بسبب الحجاب، ويطلب من الجميع كيفما كان نوعهم احترامها أو المغادرة بصمت.
Ist die Gine Hamoudi. Das ist eine Mitarbeiterin an meiner Anmeldung. Die ist total nett, die ist super freundlich und ist immer total glücklich, wenn jemand kommt und sich normal mit ihr unterhält. Die wird nicht angebrüllt, die wird nicht beschimpft und das ist auch kein Kopftuchmädchen. Wer mit dieser Einstellung in unsere Praxis kommt, kann gleich durch diese Tür wieder rausgehen. Danke.
المسلم الجديد الفرنسي ديلان تيري الذي اعتنق الإسلام بسبب أمه يقوم بإعطاء الزكاة لأم طفل مريض.
السلام عليكم، أنا اسمي بلال. وأنت؟ اسمي السلام عليكم. This is zakat. Okay. For the baby for you. May Allah accept. السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Ils sont endormis. Alhamdulillah. J'ai récité l'Al-Fatiha, ils sont endormis. Alhamdulillah. You see la masha'Allah? Yes. Salam